Today's topic surrounds John F. Kennedy's political campaign in 1960, as well as a highly successful advertisement in 2010 called Smell Like a Man, Man, promoting Old Spice body wash. We'll discuss how French and Raven's thinking of reward power influenced both promotions and how society further influenced it. I will conclude by discussing how these two promotions share similarities despite the seemingly different messages. During 1960, the presidential race began between Democrat John F. Kennedy and his Republican candidate Richard Nixon. Kennedy was elected on November 8th later that year with the closest popular vote margin of the 20th century. As a 42-year-old Roman Catholic, many believed his age and religion were unsuitable for the position of president. They were concerned that his young age indicated low expertise and his religion would interfere with his projected promises. In comparison, Nixon did have 8 years of experience as vice president. However, through multiple effective and creative strategies, Kennedy was able to bypass these concerns. An innovative and successful tactic employed in Kennedy's political campaign utilized television as a means of gaining awareness and his message across to an audience. This was a new method seen in the history of political campaigns and was heavily credited as the strategy that allowed a largely disliked candidate to eventually being elected as president. Television allowed the audiences to gain access to the images of each candidate and determine who looked more honest, more vigor, and more promising. It was through Kennedy's clever knowledge of how he would be perceived by the audience through a screen where he was able to successfully gain advantage in comparison to Nixon. Using French and Raven's thinking of reward power to analyze the impact this promotion had on the audience, the message of being rewarded with something that would better the country and every individual's future was evident. Through guest appearances on talk shows with highly respected celebrities such as Jack Pa, he was able to gain further support. He discussed the relevant topics of religion and inexperience in hopes of altering the audience's views. This was a highly controversial act as society believed politicians did not belong on talk shows. Similarly, George Lois's Olivetti Girl advertisement was also controversial yet successful because it deliberately stimulated a conversation that challenged societal norms. Lois participated in countercultural promotions by producing creative outrage. This influenced the thinking behind this particular television promotion. Kennedy's primary goal was to reposition himself from a small name to a respected candidate with a loyal support base. This proved effective when the audience of Jack Pa's show were immediately captivated by Kennedy's charisma. Furthermore, his abundant appearance on advertisements, talk shows, and news programs resulted in rapid exposure. Beyond the surface-level reward of entertainment, viewers were also rewarded with a comforting belief that their country and future could be run by someone with similar values. His age and religion were eventually regarded as reasons to why Kennedy would make a great leader that the country needed. He brought a much-desired sense of youth and glamour to politics, and thus embodying a beacon of hope and change. He appealed to America's idealistic views while simultaneously embracing the self-centeredness culture during this decade. He famously quoted, "Youth may still be a handicap in the eyes of the older politicians, but it is definitely an asset in creating a television image people like and, most difficult of all, remember." This indicates his views on the power of television as a new medium and how he exploited its use to engage with the masses. His ability to capture the attention of the public influenced the future of politics forever. His ability to recognize the power of television heavily impacted the media industry and society in general. The media industry was rewarded with an expansion and economic boost through his heavy use of television promotion. The average number of viewing minutes per TV household increased by 23 minutes in 1960 to 1965. Prior to Kennedy's political campaign, the general public did not rely on television for instant information. There was a significant delay in the communication. However, Kennedy's use of live broadcasting reduced this issue and it proved effective. He was successful in achieving his primary goal of gaining a loyal support base and winning the election by around 118,000 votes. It was through the television where he was able to present himself in a specific light that positively impacted minorities by acknowledging their value. Report of the American People on Civil Rights was a speech delivered on radio and television, where he promoted equality between all ethnic groups and minorities, and he influenced a major change to society, where he proposed legislation for the Civil Rights Act of 1964. By nationally projecting his support towards African Americans as a white male, he also gained much more respect from this community, as well as influencing his supporters to follow this mindset. It is clear that Kennedy was able to create an emotional connection with the country, something well executed in Thomas J. Barrett's Pear Soap poster. He recognized the importance of selling something beyond its use value, as Kennedy recognized the importance of presenting himself as a symbol of hope to make the public believe again. This was especially important as 1960 fell right in the middle of the Vietnam War. The 2010 promotion we will be discussing today is a commercial called The Man Your Man Could Smell Like, included as part of a campaign. Ad agency Whedon and Kennedy created this highly successful and well-enjoyed commercial for male grooming brand Old Spice. I will admit this is a little confusing seeing as there are two Kennedys in this speech, but just to reiterate, the ad agency is called Whedon and Kennedy. In the next few minutes, I will demonstrate why I believe this advertisement was so successful and iconic. It features ex-American football star and actor Asiya Mustafa. In the original commercial, The Man Your Man Could Smell Like, Mustafa is seen first in a steamy bathroom but gets transported to a cruise ship and then on a horse. This comedic piece is fast-paced, which is used as a strategy to keep the viewers entertained and tempted to continue watching. Whedon and Kennedy found that a large 70% of their customers were women, despite the products created for male use. Therefore, they made it a goal in this campaign to directly target these women. In the commercial, this is achieved by starting with a simple "Hello ladies," which directly establishes the targeted audience. He then moves on to say, sadly, your man isn't me, but if he stopped using lady-scented body wash and switched to Old Spice, he could smell like he's me, suggesting that the viewer's partners could adopt a more masculine image if he purchased Old Spice body wash. The masculine image is portrayed through a close-up of his body that society deems as perfect. This primary message acted as the reward that the women would receive if they purchased it. The desired message of what your man could be is further reinforced through the constant changing scenes from a mundane, dull-looking bathroom to a beautiful, wealthy-looking cruise ship. We can see him holding up an oyster with 2 tickets to the thing that you wanted that suddenly gets transformed into a pile of diamonds, and lastly, to the Old Spice body wash. Similar to David Ogilvy's use of weird and unconventional images seen in the poster of Hathaway shirts, Whedon and Kennedy also utilized this strategy. Both promotions understood that through a different and unexpected message, there is a higher chance of capturing audiences' attention. The seemingly random changes of luxurious items indicates that women can be rewarded with anything, as long as they purchase Old Spice. The body wash is compiled together with items that are precious and rare, suggesting that Old Spice fits well into this category. Through this, the reward power exerted goes beyond bettering a lady's man but also themselves. Similar to Kennedy's political campaign, this promotion excites us with something beyond its use value. In fact, the commercial does not even focus on the functionality at all. The use of soliloquy breaks the fourth wall and therefore creates a more personal and intimate connection with the viewer. As recognized by Thomas J. Barrett, this is an effective tactic to promote a product as it aims to resonate in one's subconscious, or better yet, conscious mind. Although the message that a man should not have feminine characteristics is promoted, Whedon and Kennedy cleverly integrated this through a comedic, light-hearted manner to avoid controversy. It can be seen in the description box on the YouTube channel that Old Spice are not saying this body wash will make your man smell like a romantic millionaire jet fighter pilot, but they were insinuating it. This transparent message of how a man needs to reflect masculine traits in order to earn their reward of a female partner affirms society's image of a perfect man. By playing into this narrative, they contribute to upholding this stigma that LGBT communities have been attempting to break down. The random assortment of ridiculous images poked fun at people who don't recognize their savviness as a customer. Similarly, Kennedy's appearances on talk shows also contributed to a countercultural movement. However, Old Spice differs from this such that they revolve around comedy to project a message, whereas Kennedy utilized controversy and word of mouth. The countercultural movement was established in 1960s with people such as Bill Bernbach, who believed that an anti-establishment backlash was an effective way to engage the audience. The strategy Whedon and Kennedy used of poking fun at themselves with the unrealistic magical changes in Mustafa's hand, as well as poking fun at some customers, were well received. This strategy resulted in an increase in sales of 60% and it generated 33 million views on YouTube. Although this commercial did not have much influence from society at the time, it did, however, have a major impact. During an interview with the creative team from Whedon and Kennedy, they identified a sudden trend that emerged after the commercial aired. A sudden surge of self-awareness and creativity was seen in advertising during that year. It had such significant impact that they saw a 1,600% growth in Twitter followers and was even nominated for an Emmy Award. Many brands tried to capture the same essence using a charismatic character to talk to the camera while doing unbelievable things. Prior to this, many advertisements looked so much alike that viewers simply tuned them out or blurred them together. It was through utilizing traditional advertising techniques, such as centering one person only, that this advertisement was so successful. It also contributed to pop culture, as the term Old Spice guy became a rather popular phrase on social media as a synonym for a desirable man. Although from first glance, Kennedy's political campaign is outright different to the Old Spice commercial, however, it is evident that they share many similarities involving promotional practices. While the followers of Kennedy were rewarded with hopes of achieving idealistic views and a comforting belief, Whedon and Kennedy rewarded their customers with a transformation of their dream man. The reward here is similar, as it targets the individual as well as the collective. In Kennedy's promotion, an individual believed that by supporting Kennedy, they could better themselves and the society. Whedon and Kennedy rewards the individual female and male in a relationship, as well as promoting the idea that together, these desires can be achieved. Although entertainment is not the primary goal of either promotions, it does act as a small reward for all viewers. It does act